So we have this computer. The usual computer, the Dell M4800, and it's I turned it on yesterday and it just went up in smoke. I was watching a video and the computer just went up in smoke and it shut down. Now I opened it and I found that we have got a burnt MOSFET. This is a MOSFET and it's burnt. So this is what was smoking yesterday. And on close observation, I can see that this MOSFET supplies power to the graphics card, which slots into this port right there. This is the graphics card. This is the GPU, and this GPU is NVIDIA. I think it's K1100. I think it's K1100M, and it slots in here like this, and it's bolted down onto the board like that. And on close observation, you can see that this thing looks like an IC, but it's actually a MOSFET. All 4 pins or 5 pins, all 4 pins on one side are shorted, and they are probably the drain, and they are directly connected to these 9 pins, I think 9 or 10 pins of this port, the first 9 of them. Yes, I think they are 9. They're actually 8. The first 8 pins of this port is where the MOSFET is connected to. And I have another board that looks a similar board with no visible variations. Now on this board, this is the MOSFET. It is a 4435 power MOSFET. These 4 pins are shorted, and on the other side, pin number 1, 2 and 3 are shorted, and then the pin number 4 is the gate. Now when I first opened the laptop on this board, I tested for a short, which is quite obvious because the MOSFET is burnt, and I tested on this capacitor here, and I got a short because I had the no, I actually got an open, because when a MOSFET like this is burnt like this, it's very likely that something else is shorted, either a capacitor or an IC that takes power from the MOSFET, or a high resistor or a high resistance resistor that is shorted to the ground, but I couldn't get a shot on this one. But I could observe that this supplies power to the GPU. So you take the GPU and you slot it back like that and hold it down, a little bit of pressure, and you check for the shot, and I'm getting the shot. I'm getting one ohm or close to 1 ohm. Okay, when I remove the MOSFET to the GPU, I don't get the shot. Now, sometimes you might detect a shot on the capacitor on one side, and on the other side there's no shot. In that case, there is actually no shot. So it's good to check for shot on that side and exchange the probes and check for the shot again. It's still shorted, so it means there's a shot somewhere. Now I remove the GPU and I check again, and no shot, and I exchange the probes and still no shot. Now in this case, if you are new into this kind of things, you are likely to think that you can solve this kind of a thing by changing the MOSFET. That you can open the laptop and see that the MOSFET is burnt. You can open the laptop, see that the MOSFET is burnt, and you think that the problem is the MOSFET, and the first thing you do is get a MOSFET from another board like this one, which is not very easy to find a good MOSFET, and solder it on, assemble your computer, and it goes up in smoke in a few minutes later. Now, you have to get at the root cause. It could be the MOSFET itself. It could be a capacitor like this one near the MOSFET, or it could be something else, and in this case it is the GPU. Now let us look at the GPU and see what could be causing our problem. Now the first thing is a visual inspection, and the visual inspection shows that there's nothing wrong with this GPU, because if any of these ICs are getting higher voltage than normal, they obviously blow up. These kind of ICs are not very resilient to voltage fluctuations. Now the diodes on it could be shorted too. The diodes could be shorted, but the most likely thing could be a capacitor. They are the ones that fail over time very easily without any kind of trigger. So your first suspect should be a capacitor. And here, when you inspect the GPU, I do not see any odd looking capacitor. Neither do I see any IC that looks like it's been dissipating a lot of heat. So let's use our meter. Check for the use our meter to check for a shot. This is not a very good meter, but it will do for that kind of a job. This is where this last port here is where the power from the this big power rail comes in through this one. So that is where we start checking, and if this is power, then the other side of the capacitor is likely to be the ground. So we are going to check for short here. And I'm getting 1 ohm or close to 1 ohm. It's shorted. So the short is coming from the GPU, but you can never tell where. Now I'll assume that this is ground on this side of this capacitor, and I'll test this coil. It tells me it's open. It's open. Something's wrong with my meter. Oh, my meter is bad. So our meter probe is repaired, and you can go back to what we were doing. Okay. So that's shorted. But when I test between, if this is the power supply, then this must be ground on this other side of the capacitor. And if I test between there and this coil, I get some 16 ohms, which means that that one is not a short. It's a low resistance, but it's not a short. So what I'm going to try to do is to remove some of these capacitors and see if the short is gone. If you wanted to test this GPU, you would have to either one, supply voltage to this pin, and you might not know what voltage it takes. It probably takes a variable voltage, or if you wanted to test it another way, you replace that burnt MOSFET and you put the GPU in its spot and try to test the board, in which case you might burn the MOSFET or you might blow something on the GPU. So this is quite complicated. The usual methods of testing, where you apply power to the board, especially to this GPU, are not quite appropriate for this kind of a job. I'm not making an excuse that I don't have a power supply, but even if I had one, this thing seems to take variable voltage. That is why it has that MOSFET, which controls the amount of voltage it takes at any particular time. So getting a power supply and applying voltage onto it directly is risking damaging it. And so far, I think it's either these capacitors or this on the other side, or these others here, because this power rail seems to also come to this point. Open. Not open but 12 ohms, which is not a short. (186 ohms), so obviously not a short. So the short seems to be around this power rail, and it seems to come before this MOSFET, because 12 ohms, but immediately at the bottom getting 2 ohms, so it must be one of these capacitors. I don't know which, and I'm going to try and identify which of them could be the culprit. Now the first thing is the visual inspection of the capacitors, and they all seem normal. They all seem normal. These mats, they are okay. I don't see anything odd. But this one seems to have some kind of whitish deposit on it at the bottom. This capacitor here. So I'm going to remove it and check it. I avoid this kind of work. I avoid using the heat gun, because these components are very delicate, and too much heat will damage them, and you don't need them damaged. Now in this case, you could get the best solution is to get another GPU. The easiest solution is to get another GPU and replace the MOSFET. But we are not in a position to source this GPU at this point, and it's quite expensive. These are not easy to find in the area that I am, and this kind of separate GPUs are not for laptops, are not easy to find in the area that I am. So I'm going to try and repair it. It might work, it might not work. I know these are surface mounted, and we should use the air gun on them, the hot air gun, but from my experience, the hot air gun tends to destroy components. It can also roast the board to the point that the board is damaged or it's very weak. We have the capacitor lifted on one side here. So we check for short. If there is no short, we solder it back. And I seem to have no shot, so I have identified the problem. So this is what blew the this is what has been getting hot. On visual inspection you could see that there seem to be some kind of deposits around the capacitor. Any slight abnormality on any of the components indicates that it has been getting too hot. Sometimes the capacitors tend to have a different color when they are shorted to ground, and that is what makes them stand out from the rest of the components, from the rest of the capacitors of the same size. That is what I used to pick on that capacitor, and I lifted one side, checked for short again on the board, and couldn't find any more shorts. So let's confirm. Let's not be too happy. We still could have a problem. I'll check on the other side, which I had initially checked. I'll check this capacitor. Okay, I'm testing the meter itself. The meter is fine. I'm getting a complete open. I'm getting a complete open. Meaning that our board is now fine without this capacitor. So you can see the power rail was shorted at the point where it enters the GPU. I mean, something like that can make you replace the whole GPU, but we saved ourselves quite a lot of money by identifying that but shorted capacitor. We will pull it off. Here's what it looks like. I don't know whether you can see it. Here's what it looks like. It does not seem to have any color problem. It's not discolored or anything, but it had a very small deposit of something that looks like rosin around it, and it seemed to have been boiling. That's why I picked on it, because no other capacitor has the same kind of look on it. Now the board will still work with the remaining capacitor. I hope it's not going to blow. I hope the remaining capacitor is good and is going to serve for quite some time. Now what happens is that capacitors will always fail in places where there is a high voltage. This is probably 19 volts or somewhere between 19 and 30 volts variable voltage supply, and that is what is likely to fail more than a capacitor somewhere inside here which has 3 volts on it or 5 volts on it. So the capacitor is likely to fail on the point where it has 19 volts or 15 volts or 20 volts or 30 volts more than it is, more than the places where it has 5 volts, 3 volts and such low voltages. Now that is something that you should be keen on. The problem is not always obvious. Whatever is roasted on the board, whatever is burnt on the board is usually not. It's usually for many. There are usually 2 or 3 problems. It's usually an avalanche of events that are caused by one small defective device. In this case, this is our culprit, and this one, even though it looks like our culprit, it's actually not. It's just a victim of the capacitor. The MOSFET is just a victim of the capacitor. So if you just replace the MOSFET and go on and switch on the computer, it will burn again. If it keeps burning like that, you destroy the board. These kind of boards have layers in them. Too much heat on them will just destroy them. You could also destroy the GPU and the computer is toast. So now we have, I'm happy that we have redeemed this card. You should know that these things are usually good, but they are not ideal. They can destroy the old board, and they can destroy new components, and they can destroy components on the board. You need to be very careful about how you handle this one and how you handle the board with the heat. And sometimes if you move these gun near plastic parts, they'll melt. You are trying to desolder an SMD component, but unfortunately it's near a plastic part or something like this, and it just burns away. Now some of you might ask why this board, why not use the good board and switch it with the this board with the burnt MOSFET. The fact is that these boards are the same, but this board does not. In fact, this GPU comes from this good board here. You need to watch the first 2 videos of this channel to know where this board came from. This board came from the same computer, but unfortunately this board couldn't support 4K screen, and because it couldn't support a 4K screen, I switched it for this board. I bought this board. This is the 4K board. This supports 4K, and that's why I switched it and switched the components over. However, there's no problem with this board. As you've seen, it's the GPU that had a shorted capacitor. The GPU itself is of good quality. It's an old one though. That is why the capacitor, sometimes they usually fail because they have a voltage on them all the time. We can check this capacitor for short, the capacitor itself. And it's shorted. It's completely shorted. So this is actual petrol, gasoline, and we will this is actual petrol, actual gasoline, and I'll do just a little bit of cleaning. After a little bit of persuasion, the MOSFET is out. Now if you had a newer MOSFET, a new MOSFET, I mean, to solder onto there, it would be much easier because we do not have to desolder it from another board. Sometimes you can use this solder to make the factory solder a bit softer. You can use this solder. So there we have our MOSFET. It's out. I had a problem with my soldering gun. It's not the best, but we have gotten the MOSFET out without damaging the board. The meter is good. You have to get some resistance on the drain source, and then none of the drain or source should be shorted to the gate. The gate on this MOSFET is pin number 4. I do not get any short, and I do not get any short on the gate. Now if you don't check the short and it happens that the gate is shorted to one of to either the drain or the source, you can destroy the board once it's powered on. So you have to check. I'm checking the resistance between the pins on the same side, whether it's the drain and source, and I'm getting they are well soldered on. That side is well soldered on. Now with MOSFET it's not too hard because you are allowed to short the MOSFET, the pins on one side, because they are all soldered onto one plate of copper on the board. So you are allowed to short them. You're also allowed to short the 3 pins on this side, but the gate must be always isolated. I'll do a little bit of cosmetic work with the gasoline, petrol. sometimes because of the tension on the boards, on some boards like this, the components are stretched out and they eventually get shorted. So that because there's usually some tension on the board, especially along the port. So that might be one of the reasons that the capacitor failed. Here we have the battery, but we are not going to use it for now. We are going to measure the voltage on the charger, 19.84, so that's good. And we are going to plug it in. Here it is, and this is the Windows loading. We have the laptop working again. Those SMD capacitors, those surface mounted capacitors, are the weakest link in these kind of devices, mobile phones and those kind of electronics.